Sexual deviation is a term that is often misunderstood. In reality, the only true form of sexual deviation is the complete absence of sex. Everything else is simply a matter of personal preference. What one person finds appealing may not be the same for someone else. In relationships, it's important for a woman to bring softness to a man's life, but she should never weaken him. The role of a woman is to encourage strength, not diminish it. The death of a father, however, is a deep and painful event in any man's life. It is one of the most heartbreaking and difficult losses a person can experience. When you start to feel like you're dealing with depression or low self-esteem, it's crucial to first check whether your feelings might actually be the result of the people around you. Sometimes we feel down simply because we are surrounded by negativity or people who bring us down. The only real shame in something like masturbation is not doing it well. There's no need for guilt. It's a natural part of human life. But like anything, it's important to do it with care and respect for oneself. Perfection on the outside often hides deep inner struggles. The more perfect a person seems on the surface, the more likely it is that they are fighting demons inside. Love makes us vulnerable, and losing the person we love is one of the hardest experiences to face. The pain of such a loss can feel unbearable. However, as time passes, we begin to realize that the years of struggle we endured were some of the most meaningful and beautiful moments of our lives. Masturbation is a natural human behavior, but it's also one of the primary forms of addiction that people often overlook. This addiction can lead to further problems, such as alcohol, tobacco, and even more severe substances like morphine. These addictions often begin as an attempt to substitute the temporary pleasure found in masturbation with something else. But it's important to recognize that emotions don't disappear simply because we try to ignore them. Instead, they get buried inside, only to resurface later in uglier ways. In small matters, it's often best to trust your mind, but when it comes to bigger decisions, trust your heart. The secret to understanding the human soul is found in the emotional experiences of childhood. Understanding these early emotional experiences can be the key to healing and growing stronger. Many people are afraid of true freedom because it comes with responsibility. Most people shy away from responsibility because it feels like too much to handle, and the fear of failure can be paralyzing. One of the most costly things in life is illness, especially when it's ignored. Taking care of our health is essential, not just physically, but mentally. Our personality is shaped by the challenges and struggles we face. The greater the challenge, the more it shapes us into the person we become. Having enemies can actually be seen as an honor, as it shows that you've made an impact in the world. It means that you have stood up for something and made people take notice. Happiness, when we are young, is often simple. It's the fulfillment of our dreams and desires. As we grow older, we begin to realize that happiness is not just about getting what we want, but about understanding who we are and what we truly need. We don't meet people by chance. In fact, we tend to encounter those who are already connected to us on a deeper subconscious level. The connections we form are often not as random as they seem. Instead of constantly seeking strength and confidence from outside sources, it's important to look within yourself. Everything you need to feel confident and strong has always been within you. Often, the busier we are, the fewer idle distractions we face. A person who is focused on their work is less likely to be distracted by people who bring no value to their life. Similarly, no flies are attracted to a boiling pot. We are drawn to contrast, and we derive the most enjoyment from situations that have both high and low moments. Limiting ourselves can sometimes make our experiences more meaningful. Maturity is about learning to delay gratification. It's the ability to understand that not everything we want will come immediately, and that's okay. Sometimes, a person who has little money is more generous than someone who has a lot. Perhaps this is because the person with little money is trying to avoid the thought that they have nothing at all. History is full of examples where new people make the same mistakes as those before them. It's as though history is constantly repeating itself as we continue to make the same errors time and time again. The most important thing in life is to understand yourself. Without this understanding, we can never truly know what we want or need. As adults, we struggle to understand children because we've forgotten what it was like to be a child ourselves. Through trial and error, we discover what is true for us. The mistakes we make are often the key to unlocking the deeper truths of life. From our vulnerabilities, we find our strengths. Our weaknesses, when recognized, can become the building blocks for personal growth. One of the first signs of stupidity is a lack of shame. When a person is unable to recognize their own faults, it's a sign that they are not ready to learn. Humor is one of the quickest ways to connect with others. A well-timed joke can break down barriers and create a bond between people. In life, we don't need to strive to eliminate our flaws or weaknesses. Instead, we should learn to make peace with them. Our flaws are a part of who we are, and understanding them can help guide our actions in the world. Friendship is about maintaining a balance of distance, while love is about intimacy and closeness. Knowing how to wait patiently can be just as valuable as taking action. Sometimes, we don't need to rush things or make concessions. The right things will happen in their own time. Our nature as humans is often shown through our misunderstandings. We can make mistakes, misinterpret each other, and still find a way to grow. Everyone has their own unique path in life, and sometimes the misunderstandings we face lead us to valuable lessons. In the end, understanding ourselves and the world around us is a lifelong journey. Through struggle, loss, and moments of doubt, we continue to discover who we truly are. The key is to embrace the process, knowing that with each challenge comes the opportunity for growth and change. The best fights are often the ones we avoid. In life, we only need to compare ourselves to the person we were in the past, not anyone else. The only goal should be to become a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. Dreams don't focus on small, unimportant things. Envy can destroy us, so we should avoid it. Instead, we should live by our own rules and not let our ego control us. The ego doesn't truly rule over itself. It doesn't have full control. Often, we aren't even fully aware of our desires or the deeper reasons behind our actions. When we recognize a problem, we've already solved part of it. It's true that people tend to be more moral than they think, but they can also be more immoral than they realize. Being completely honest with ourselves can be challenging, but it's a valuable practice. When we are confident that we are loved, we tend to act bolder. The voice of our intellect is soft, but it never stops trying to guide us. Yet, it is difficult to live our own lives freely. Instead, we are often guided by forces we don't fully understand or control. Love, especially when it comes with longing or deprivation, can make us feel less confident and lower our self-esteem. If a woman stops showing interest in sex, it could be a sign that she is questioning her emotional connection with her partner or reflecting on unmet needs or unresolved issues. This shift might indicate deeper relationship concerns. In contrast, dogs express their feelings more clearly. They show love for their friends and anger at their enemies. People, however, often complicate their emotions by mixing love with hate. The balance between work and love can be tricky, but it's an essential part of life. Our public self is shaped by our inner psychological world, which is a mixture of influences from our experiences and conditioning. When we are young, the need for protection from our father is one of the strongest emotional needs we experience. We are the way we are because of what we've gone through and how we've grown. If a woman begins talking more about sex, especially when she lacks it in her life, it's often a sign of a deeper hunger for something that isn't being met. Just like someone who is hungry might constantly talk about food, a person struggling with money will often talk about financial issues. People with power, like politicians or bankers, might talk about morality to distract from the real issues they face. Dreams can often be most meaningful when they seem the most bizarre. It's easy to see how those around us might share the same delusions and never realize it. Society is constantly at risk of falling apart due to the deep-rooted hostility that often exists between people. The breakdown of social bonds can occur anytime if we aren't careful. Nothing that is truly ours mentally can ever be lost. Words hold incredible power. They can either lift someone up or drive them to despair. Life teaches us that we all must face death, and in doing so, we realize that the world isn't always gentle. Life is full of lessons, and as we grow older, we understand that we can't turn back time to our youth. We all must discover for ourselves how to find salvation, how to live meaningfully, and how to navigate the world. We are born with a sense of loneliness, and we leave this world with that same feeling. It is a constant, whether we acknowledge it or not. Life's lessons often come in the form of suffering, but they are essential for growth. Our experiences shape us, and through them, we come to understand ourselves better. Every person has their own path in life, and no one can walk it for us. It is only through living, facing challenges, and learning from them that we grow and evolve. The world often feels like a complicated, mysterious place, but it is in this complexity that we find our purpose. The mind is incredibly powerful, yet much of it operates beneath the surface, like an iceberg. What we see is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more beneath it that influences our thoughts and behaviors. If we take the time to reflect and understand, we realize that our minds are filled with hidden forces, both conscious and unconscious, that affect how we perceive the world. We might think we know everything, but in reality, there are many things we do not understand. Knowledge is like a faint light in the darkness, illuminating just a small part of a much larger truth. This realization doesn't mean we should stop seeking, but rather we should continue to question and explore the unknown. True success in life comes when we are able to turn our desires into action and make them a reality. A person who can transform their dreams into tangible outcomes is the one who truly succeeds. But it's important to remember that thoughts are also actions in preparation. The process of thinking about something often leads to action, and by acting on our thoughts, we shape our reality. In a world full of distractions and misconceptions, it is easy to lose sight of what really matters. The pursuit of knowledge and self-awareness is vital, as it helps us make sense of the confusion around us. We may not have all the answers, but it is through our struggles and reflections that we continue to grow. We must be patient with ourselves and understand that the path to enlightenment is not a straight line. It is full of detours, challenges, and moments of doubt. While the world may feel uncertain and unpredictable, we can find stability within ourselves. It's important to remain true to our inner values, not letting external circumstances or opinions dictate how we feel or what we believe. Only by staying grounded in who we are can we navigate the ups and downs of life. In conclusion, life is a journey filled with complexities, but it is through understanding ourselves and our surroundings that we find meaning. We must continuously strive to be better than we were yesterday, reflect on our experiences, and learn from them. By avoiding unnecessary conflict, embracing honesty, and remaining grounded in our values, we can create a life that is fulfilling and true to who we are.